Like I said, he is considered one of the best middleweights ever. But now, this is my chance to show that I'm one of the greatest middleweights ever.
Fala pessoal, e essa coletiva que rolou para promover o UFC 305 em do Plessis alfinetou Adesanya e tomou resposta na lata.
Yeah, I don't really care about how it rubbed him off the wrong way. I don't care.
I don't really give a fuck where he's from, but I'll show him who he is.
Fique por aqui e confira tudo que rolou nessa coletiva.
When I started the journey in the UFC, I saw it play out quite a bit sooner. I always had the goal. I said, by the time I'm 30 years old, I'll be UFC champion. And unfortunately, with COVID taking away some time from me being able to fight more regularly in the beginning of my UFC career, I missed that goal by 6 days. I fought for the belt 6 days after my 30th birthday. So, you know, the planning was almost pinpoint accurate for that, but you know, now it starts. This is my first title defense, and obviously the first time that two Africans are on a main event of the UFC. That's history, and that's amazing. You know, two African-born fighters main eventing a massive pay-per-view event. That's history. So that in itself is a massive honor for me. And then, of course, fighting Israel, arguably one of the greatest middleweights ever, and that I wouldn't want to defend my title against anybody else. Yeah, not necessarily taking me to the next level, but in terms of legacy, every single fight is for legacy, and you don't want to be just. You know, once you become a champion, you have to realize, firstly, when you're in the UFC, there are no easy fights. Every single fight is the potential world champion you're fighting against. And then, of course, when you're at the top of the pile, when you are at the top of the sport and being a champion, everybody coming up is extremely hungry. Everybody's looking at you and figuring out and seeing the holes in your game, seeing what you do good, seeing what mistakes you make. And, you know, for a guy like Israel, he has been there for a very long time. And he, like I said, he is considered one of the best middleweights ever. But now, this is my chance to show that I'm one of the greatest middleweights ever.
What's it been like to be able to sort of take some time to yourself and be able to, you know, recharge the batteries a little bit?
Yeah, a long break. This is the longest layoff of my fighting career. You know, 5 fights in 18 months, not as even a fighter, a champion. So it's not just the fights itself, the camps, the pressures of being the king of everything. So it was good for me just to remove myself from the game, enjoy life, took up golf, slowed things down a little bit. But yeah, doing that makes me appreciate this a lot more because I get to see my homies like, you know, Carlos, Kevin Jousset, even now the young guys, Navajo Sterling, toes them up, Aaron, you know, they're starting to get into the UFC, and seeing them enjoy the little things. Like when I got here in 2018, UFC 221, I was that kid, you know, bright eyes and everything. So seeing them bright-eyed and like, wow, I'm about to get in the UFC, or I'm in the UFC doing it, kind of reignites that flame. And also taking the time off did that for me. So yeah, fucking back into work. Yeah, people don't understand because most people never been in our situation. So for me, look, I've been here, bought the t-shirt, done it twice. Yeah, it's not really about that. For me, it's taking on the best warriors from different lands and, yeah, putting them on my record. I've never beaten Dricus du Plessis, so beating him is what attracts me to this fight, not the belt. So those who have never, ever been in our shoes will never understand that mindset. So, yeah, fuck the belts, I'm coming for heads, and I stick with that.
Spoke about being the king and the pressures that go along with that. Can you give us a bit of an insight into how mentally exhausting that can be, just holding off a whole bunch of guys who want a piece of you?
Oh, it still feels that way. It never changes. I'm Israel Adesanya, you know. There's always going to be a target on my back. But experience. I've had experience in this. But again, what we do is crazy. We might seem like invincible people, but we're humans. So again, as the most active champion in history, 5 fights, 18 months, it was just too much for me. And I was forced to take a break, and I'm happy I did. And by the time I step back in there with Dricus, it'll be almost a year. A lot's happened in a year. A lot has changed for me in a year. So, yeah, I look forward to just enjoying the process, all this shit, till we get in the octagon and then we scrap it out.
And in terms of the time off, did you do anything, apart from resting, did you do anything in particular?
Yeah, took up golf, something different. Because I never ever thought, if you told me 2 years ago you're going to love golf, what? It's stupid. But it's something different from my day-to-day. You know, every day is hard, grind. And golfing, it's a way for me to get in nature. This summer was my way of getting outside. It's slow pace. I'm that dude on the course who takes his shoes off because I like the earth. And I get weird looks, but I'm like, bro, take your shoes off. It'll feel nice too. And it's cool. So I just took up golf, skydived a couple of times, you know, adrenaline, I need that. And yeah, still worked, helped my teammates, traveled, but it's been good to just live life as Izzy rather than as a style bender and constantly brr. So yeah, it's been nice.
Israel, there seems to be a bit of tension between yourself and Drickus. Can you just...
Really?
A little bit. Can you just run through why that is?
Tension. There's always tension whenever you fight anyone. This is a fight at the end of the day. We're not playing chess. We're fighting. So there's always going to be tension there. We've had history over the years. It's almost like destiny because we met in the staff investor room in Thailand, Tiger Muay Thai, back in the day. Had a little play around. And funny enough, here we are again. It's like full circle, back where it all started for me. So, yeah. And also, again, he tried to discredit the Three Kings and say that he's the real true African champion. And I was just like, it's a weird mindset, bro. Like, he came in the UFC. I knew who he was a little bit, but I didn't go, oh, who the fuck's this fake dude coming in? I just said, cool, there's another African in the UFC. But then him discrediting me, Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, that ticked me off a little bit. So that's what started this. But again, I'll finish it.
And what does it mean to you to come back to Perth, where you started? Does this place hold a special place in your heart?
Perth, bro. I'm a local of Scarborough. That's my spot. Shout out to Ash. He's the one that fucking put me on. But yeah, I love Perth. Every time I come out here, I like the energy. I love the people. And this is where my UFC career started. This is where I you know, became the big dog in the yard. And I said that as I finished Homeboy in the Cage. So, yeah, it's always nice to come back to where it all started and carry on the legacy.
Drickus, do you just sort of have a response to what Israel said before about the tension between yourselves?
Yeah, no, for me, you know, calling it tension, there's no tension for me. I get into the octagon and I do my job. I do my business. You can be the biggest asshole in the world. You can be the nicest guy in the world. I'm going out there to kill you. And I hope you're doing the same to me, because otherwise it's not going to be a good night for you. And as far as discrediting, never discredited anybody. Stating facts. Where do I reside? What's my postal code? Where do I train? Where do I live? Where was I born? In South Africa. Still there, still training. And I won this belt from South Africa. I didn't travel anywhere else. That was the only thing that I stated. So never discredited anybody, but quite frankly, I don't really care about how it rubbed him off the wrong way. I don't care.
I don't really give a fuck where he's from, but I'll show him who he is.
Yeah, whatever that means. I'm glad you took up golf, because you know that's a retirement sport. I can understand you start playing golf.
Hey man, you do what you have to do in your own time.
Well, I mean, I've been fighting. I've been fighting the crowd ever since I got into the UFC. So, you know, at the end of the day, if the crowd is cheering, if the crowd is booing, at the end of the day, it's noise, and you know, it's electrifying. You know, obviously fighting in Canada, the crowd was against me, and I won that crowd over. They were chanting my name by the end of the fight, and you know, that's at the end of the day what it's about for me. Coming in and you know, turning haters or turning the boos into cheers, not because of what I'm saying or, you know, how I'm doing it right now, but because of my performance. At the end of the day, I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, and the people pay to watch that. And you know, if you can create fans by performance, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to put up the best fights and give the fans the show they came here for.
To your Arsenal for this fight?
Definitely. We've shuffled the deck at the gym. We kept what was useful and discarded what wasn't. Yeah, added a lot of different tools to my game, working with my teammates as well, helping them out. And I look forward to showing off come August. Like for me, this is just, I've missed this, low key. I've kind of missed this, even you guys. And yeah, I look forward to getting back in there and showing off what I can do, showing out.
Izzy over here, thanks. You mentioned before that the belts don't mean that much to you, but with the win over Drukas in Perth, you created a bit of history by becoming the first 3-time middleweight champion. Does that part mean a little bit to you as far as legacy?
Not really too much. I'm already the 2-time champ. It's not really, it just adds to it. Even when I fought here in this arena, I said, bro, the belt's a fancy tiara. It's going to come either way. I'm just going to keep winning, and everything else will come. The belt, the money, the fame, the adulations, all that. Look, with the win over him, he still keeps that belt. That's going to sit over his fireplace, and I get a new one. So I've got so many belts. It doesn't really matter to me. And I'm saying what I don't have is him, his head, and that's what I'm coming for. So I want to fight with freedom, and that's what I'm going to do, fight freely.
Think you have one in preference?
Hey, man, Dan doesn't really give a fuck. He just wants to fight. And, yeah, he's not here right now to speak for himself, so I'll speak for him. Whoever's watching, Sean, Hunter, Dana, Mick, please put Dan Hooker on this card.
E aí, galera, o que acharam dessa coletiva? Quem você acha que leva essa? Comente aqui.